Okay, it is done. 2.5 weeks and a lot of back-breaking effort later. This strawing is complete. And yes, this will be done differently. It's just when we started all of this, Andre got onions and they had to be put in the ground within 3 weeks after we received them. And the garlic had to go in the ground virtually immediately after we got them because we have a truncated growing year with the garlic. And so 8 out of the 10 rows were pretty much determined before we even really got our act together with the rest of the garden. So that was before the irrigation system, obviously before the straw. So that's the reason why we had to do all the weeding. This piece right here was the first thing that we did. This was done about 2.5 weeks ago. So that's what the straw looks like after about 2.5 weeks. It's all brown and disgusting. But it looks like it's doing its job because I see very few weeds, if any. So I call that a success. Also, the ground is moist underneath the straw. So the straw is doing its secondary job, which is keeping the ground moist underneath it. And so while I'm going back and forth here, I was just going to give a little garden update. The garlic is producing scapes. Like, there's a scape right there, and there's one right next to it. Elephant garlic scapes do not curve, they go straight. So these are going to have to get done tomorrow because it looks like they're getting ready to pop. As soon as they flower, if they do flower, then pretty much you're done with the bulb at that point because the plant goes into producing seed time, not producing bulb time. So you want to get them before they actually start flowering. Wanting to go to row 4 here. So we got elephant garlic in row 1. We have on the top here, this is Texas Super Sweet. On the bottom down there is our Spanish long day onions. The Spanish long day onions were an oopsie by Andrea because we're technically not supposed to grow those here. Those are more of a northern climate, but they're growing just as good as any of the other onions. What you're seeing on the left here, this is all the red Creole onions, but what I wanted to do is come down to the end here and show you these are starting to flower. And we saw some other ones that were starting to flower too. And basically, here's the Spanish onions, the long day onions, closer up. But the unlike the garlic, where you're supposed to take the scape off the onion flowers, you're supposed to leave them. They supposedly do not inhibit the growth of the actual bulb itself. This is our leeks right here. The leeks took a big hit. We don't know if we just planted them wrong or they were in the wrong area because it is wetter here and we did plant these deeper. So we didn't know if too much moisture got into them and killed them or we just planted them incorrectly. These are the Cipollone onions here. And row 5 here is almost empty. This was my aunt's corn roll row. And as you can see, some of the corms have come up, but they're not very big. So we're going to try to figure out what's wrong with the corms and alter them in the future. Row 7 over here are Texas corms. That obviously is the winner of all the corms. And These are also elephant garlic corms, but Andrea bought them from someone in Texas. Then I wanted to show, here's our carrots. And we've had to straw over the carrots for almost 2 weeks now. And the carrots seem to love it. Then row 8, these are our Texas white onions. So as you can see, they're starting to bulb out pretty good. We are trying to keep the straw away from the onion bulbs, some more successful than others. The real winner, after we got the irrigation and then after we got the straw down, have been the beets. As you can see, a decent amount of them did not come up, but the ones that have come up, they're growing like weeds. So I'm going to call that a good thing. I don't know if you can hear the thunder, but it looks like it's going to be raining in a little bit. The bugs are definitely saying it's going to be raining a little bit. These, Andrea, what are these?
Black Beauty zucchini.
Yeah, these are Black Beauty zucchini. So these are zucchini, but they're going to be black or very dark green.
And the last two are the Cuba butter.
And so these are actually flowering. We started these from seeds inside, and so we had to bring them outside to get them to start getting used to the outside environment. And these are Cuba butter.
Yeah, zucchini.
That's another zucchini?
Yes.
What color are they?
Butter.
Butter, so yellow color. Then the other thing we've transplanted has been the
Bush beans.
bush beans, and it looks like something's eating the leaves. So we're gonna have to get diatomaceous earth or something on these beans because something is definitely eating them.
We'll dust it with First Saturday lime.
Or Andre's going to use First Saturday lime, which is similar to diatomaceous earth. But these are our bush beans. Virtually every single bush bean that we planted inside has sprouted. And then we got Potato Alley here. These are all the Tractor Supply russet potatoes. And then we got, these are the Yukon Golds. And then I think these are the Purple Majesties. And then these are the Heirloom Russets. And potatoes are like onions. You can let them go ahead and flower. You don't have to deal with it. Andrea was reading that once the potatoes are done and they're starting their curing process, that you cure them actually in the ground. You shut the water off to them. We might pull the straw back to let the dirt dry out, and you let them cure for 2 weeks in the ground, which is perfectly fine with me because we're gonna have to cure 1,000 onions and at least 600 garlic also, and that curing is going to be fun. This is our child here. This is Sherlock. Andrea's mother accidentally let him out, and so he got part away into my recently tilled area and said this is not for me, and then came back out. I tilled this over the last weekend. I took the backhoe off the tractor, so the tiller's on it now, and we're going to have 4 additional rows that are going to look like these rows. 2 rows are going to be dedicated to sweet potatoes. Yes, we're going to try to encourage the sweet potatoes to stay on the rows, so then we can harvest them easier. We'll see how the sweet potatoes are going to take to it, but we're going to try. Basically, we're going to have to come out every day and keep moving the vines so they stay up and down the rows. And then we're going to have our tomatoes, our peppers, eggplant, cucumbers, and such in the other 2 rows. And then I don't think we're going to use all of this, but we're going to use probably at least 15 or 20 feet of width here for our melons. And so we
Winter squash.
and winter squash. Andrea got what kind of winter squash?
Spaghetti.
Yes, she got spaghetti squash, and evidently those grow more viney, like a pumpkin or a watermelon, instead of more of a individual plant like a zucchini or a summer squash. So those are coming out here too. We are not hilling up, because even if we wanted to, there's no way we could corral the watermelon, because as soon as the watermelon takes off, it's gonna freaking go everywhere. Now, if the watermelon ends up all the way into the field over there, then I'll be impressed, because last year the watermelon ended up in the field, and we actually had watermelon growing in the field, which was soybeans last year. It might be peanuts this year. We still have about 2 weeks before
to be determined.
Yeah, before the cutoff of the peanuts, because the farmer that farms the back here and all the area around us, we know he does corn, we know he does peanuts, and we know that he does soybeans. And so corn is first, peanuts are second, and soybeans are last. The soybeans will not be planted until middle to the end of June, which is what happened last year. So anyway, so we're gonna accommodate a certain part of this for the watermelon, the pumpkins, and the spaghetti squash. And so that's the garden as of right now. I also wanted to show the irrigation system is working like a champ. And I hooked up, these are 2-gallon, they're called Easy Flow fertilizer systems. And I don't know if you can see on the video, that's blood meal that's in there. And there's an agitator that when it turns on, it agitates it so it can actually run through the system. And basically, I'm on 1,000-to-1 mix right now. So for every 1 gallon inside of there, 1,000 gallons runs through it. That's what it recommends. I might have to kick that up a little bit to get the blood meal to go through faster. The blood meal is supposed to be water soluble, you know, because it's dried blood. And so, but it doesn't look like they're going down a whole lot. So I might start monkeying with that. I might actually do that after I get done with the video. But anyway, strawing is done. We use significantly less straw bales than we thought. I thought, looking online on the estimates and all that, you know, on how thick the straw needs to be versus how big, how much a
area bale would do.
Yeah, an area a bale would do, and all, you know, I thought we were gonna have to use like 70 to 80 bales in this area, and I think we used about 45 bales in this entire area. Now that includes obviously in between the rows and the rows themselves, and that's 10 rows.
Yeah,
which is about 3,600 square feet. So what we're going to do now is, that's 6 bales right there, and we have 30 bales right here, and so that's what's going to be used on the rest of this. And then if you see the carport, we have 48 bales sitting back there. So yeah, we kind of overshot on the straw a little bit, but worst case scenario, we can use the straw for other things. If we need to top off anything in the garden, we can use straw for that. On the list is composting, because we have a friend of ours that has cows, pigs, and chickens. And so all we have to do is go down and get the manure, and we can bring it back up here and start composting it. And straw is an excellent brown to go in with the compost.
Along with our bedding from our chickens.
Yeah, and we got the bedding from our chickens that desperately needs gone too. So we can, we've had our new bales of hemp inside the house for over a month now, but we've been so concentrated on this, we haven't had time to actually do that. Oh, and I did want to show one other thing. Okay, I wanted to show one other thing. We are done adding dirt inside the chicken coop. All these pavers were down where they were originally, and we added so much dirt in here, and the sisters were so proficient at leveling the dirt area out. They were covered probably about 2 or 3 inches of dirt on top of them. So Sunday we weren't able to weed and mulch, so I came in here, got all the pavers up, added dirt, and then put them back down. And this is the height that I want them to be. And every time, it's rained a couple times since then, and except in the very low areas where they like to dig in the corner, the dirt here is dry. There's a couple of corn cobs. Andrea's mother gave us some corn cobs, so what we didn't eat we chucked in there and gave to the sisters, and so they had themselves a little chicken feast. So anyway, just wanted to show that real quick. And I have another perch on the inside that I need to bring out here. Hermione, who's our height chicken, she's the one that likes to get up high all the time. She will be thankful, because anytime anybody's on a perch, it's always her. And when these windows are open, which will be probably in a couple of weeks or so, she'll be on top of those windows too. And there's ML right there. So anyway, I think I'm done rambling. The storm looks like it's getting closer. It might or might not hit us. But I got the strawing done, so at this point I really don't care. The straw has been really good with the wind and the rain. I've never really dealt with straw before, but it was handling 30-mile-an-hour gusts of wind, no problem, and all the rain, no problem. I've dealt mainly with pine straw before, and all you have to do is sneeze hard and that stuff blows away. But not the regular straw. It's held down like a champ. And so the straw was definitely a way to go. So one last look of the potential storm coming our way. Yeah, there's some good thunder right there. So anyway, I need to go in, take a shower before storm hits. And the garden, at least the first part of the garden, is now done.